are you going with that? So I am adding, and this is why he referred to them as the peanut butter death bars, is because there's so much peanut butter in them. It doesn't take an entire jar, but really close, and so anytime I make them, I buy a new jar knowing that I'm gonna need. Don't wanna waste the peanut butter. Chocolate, peanut butter oatmeal. Oh man. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making lunch lady bars. These are an oatmeal peanut butter cookie topped with creamy peanut butter and chocolate frosting. What's not to like? Preheat your oven to 350 and let's get started. Hello. If you're like me and you hear lunch lady bars, you have no idea what that was. I didn't either when I saw this recipe probably 6-7 years ago on Six Sisters Stuff. And I've modified it to be gluten-free and dairy-free. My family loves the combination of chocolate and peanut butter, so I thought I'd give it a try, and it has become a family favorite. In fact, my tech guy calls them peanut butter death bars because they are so rich and peanut buttery that it's almost death by peanut butter. Let's get started. To my stand mixer, I'm going to add 1 cup of butter, and again, I'm using the Voix Life brand unsalted. Now, these are by no means a diet food, but you could easily make them low sodium with the only thing in this recipe having sodium being the peanut butter. And if you found a low sodium peanut butter, which they do make, you could use that to make them low sodium. So here is my 1 cup of butter, non-dairy plant-based butter. And to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of regular granulated sugar and 1 cup of brown sugar. So like I said, not diet. The latch keeps going in the middle, so I cannot get my cup in there. I need to fill up my container. All right, and I'm just gonna mix that together, cream it, technically. Oh, better. Nice. Light and creamy. To my butter and sugar mixture, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla, and mix it in. And then 2 eggs, 1 at a time, mixing between them. And once the eggs are mixed in, I'm going to add some peanut butter. Now this recipe takes 2.5 cups of peanut butter divided. In my cookies, I'm going to add a cup of peanut butter. The other 1.5 cups of peanut butter is just spread over the top in a yummy peanut butter layer. So I am adding and this is why he referred to them as the peanut butter death bars, is because there's so much peanut butter in them. It doesn't take an entire jar, but really close, and so anytime I make them, I buy a new jar knowing that I'm gonna need. Don't wanna waste the peanut butter. Make sure that's all mixed in. I'm just gonna scrape it down. And then I'm going to add some gluten-free oats. Now, remember that oats in and of themselves do not contain gluten. The reason that we need to have a certified gluten-free oat is because the processing of oats is often cross-contaminated. So Bob's Red Mill certified gluten-free oats is what I use to make sure that those are safe, but oats in and of themselves are not glutinous and they're heart healthy. So, you know, maybe.
This is for healthy?
No. Well, it is low sodium and it contains oatmeal, right? No. I'm using 2 cups of oats. And mix. Now I'm adding 2 cups of my flour blend. That recipe is also available here on YouTube. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, check that out. This will be the end of that. And along with that, I need 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum. And if you're using it, salt. The original recipe called for 1 teaspoon. Salt, it would not be necessary in this recipe. It just enhances the flavors a bit. I'm going to reduce it to a 1/2 teaspoon. Not because I'm attempting to make these low sodium, because my peanut butter was not low sodium. So I'm not making them low sodium today. I just am used to not having salt in my food. So a cup or a whole teaspoon just seems like too much to me right now. Oh, and I almost forgot, teaspoon of baking powder. Nope, baking soda. Huh. Baking soda. 1 teaspoon. My poor mixer. Okay, that is nice and mixed in. So this is a bar cookie. So I'm going to use a cookie sheet with sides and press this out. Here's my pan, and I'm just going to scoop this onto my pan in such a way that I help myself to get it pressed all over, all the way to the edges of the pan. Using my spatula here, I'm just going to spread it everywhere. I am not using parchment paper today, even though that is one of my favorite things, just because it makes it really hard to serve because it sticks to the bottom, and then when you use the server to try to get it out, sometimes you get a hold of the parchment paper and you can't get it between the parchment paper and the bar, or it gets cut when you cut them. So I'm skipping that step. I am also not greasing this pan. Peanut butter's plenty greasy enough that it doesn't stick to the pan. But if you were concerned about that, a spray of avocado oil or a little extra non-dairy butter spread around there. Okay, so just a nice even spread all the way to the edges. And then into the oven, 350 for 15 minutes. While this bakes, I'm going to clean up my mess to get ready to make the frosting. Going to clean. Or maybe taste the batter. The timer has gone off and I'm ready to pull my cookies out of the oven. They almost overrun the pan. And if you notice as I'm pulling it out, it's a little bit jiggly. We want them not firm and still a little bit soft and gooey. All right, so here are my oatmeal peanut butter cookie bars. And to these, I'm going to add 1.5 cups of creamy peanut butter. Now, one way you could do this is to drop small, maybe tablespoon size across the pan and then spread it out while the cookies are still warm, because it will melt the peanut butter so that it will spread. I have noticed that doing this, the cookies will fall. I mean, it's already starting. You can see they're starting to fall as they sit here. So I've noticed that if I drop it by tablespoonfuls, I kind of move around the top of the cookie a little more. So to make this easier on me, I actually melt my peanut butter first and then pour it on and then spread it out. Probably it's one of those impatient things, I admit it. So I microwave my peanut butter about 30 seconds until it is melted and it's already creamy, but easier to spread. That's good. All right, and so now I'm just going to attempt to kind of drizzle this across the top. Might need a few more seconds, but it will continue to melt as the cookies are still hot. It's just easier for me to kind of get it spread out if I melt it a little bit first. You'll notice the center is kind of falling and leaving this crust edge raised a little bit. All right, and then I just very gently spread peanut butter around. You can see as I'm doing this, the cookie layer is kind of moving around underneath of the peanut butter, which is what I was talking about, why I think it's easier to do a little bit of a melt on. All right, now this is going to go into the refrigerator while I mix up my frosting so that it has a chance to kind of set and solidify. When I put the frosting on, it stays that nice layer and doesn't mix in with my frosting. Now I'm gonna mix up some chocolate frosting. I'm starting with 1/2 cup of my non-dairy butter. And softened is better. This has only been sitting out for the time it took me to make my cookies, so it's not quite soft, so I'm going to mix that up, give it a little mix to soften up the butter before I add some powdered sugar. And it'll be a total of 3 cups of powdered sugar. I like to do it in batches, so I'll add some powdered sugar, then my cocoa powder, then more powdered sugar. So 1 cup of powdered sugar and mix that in. I never really realized how much time I spend just staring into the mixer until someone's watching me. I'm like, there's a lot of time just looking. Here I go with my messes again. I'm going to add my vanilla, about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. That down. And then I'm going to add my cocoa powder, about 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder. More powdered sugar. A 1/4 cup of non-dairy milk, and I'm using Oatmeal. That does not look appetizing right now. Another cup of sugar, powdered sugar. So this is not going to be a buttercream or like the buttercream where it's thick enough to decorate with. We just want it smooth and creamy to spread over the top of our bars. And if it appears to be too thick to spread, you could add a little more milk to thin it out a bit. That appears to be pretty creamy. See, now it looks much better. Let's sure all the chocolate's off the bottom. All right, I'll move this out of the way so that I'm ready to bring in my cool bars to frost. Harris, I have a treat for you. Do you want some peanut butter? Oh, yum. Where are you going with that? All right, my peanut butter has had a little bit of time to cool and set. My frosting is ready. I'm gonna spread it over the top. So this is the scoop that I use to serve them. So this is what I use for a guide for the size that I cut them. They are very rich, so I usually go pretty small, and then, you know, if somebody wants, they can have another one. I'm just gonna cut myself one little one to show you. Here, I'm gonna use this corner though, because look at all that peanut butter. See the layer of peanut butter, oatmeal peanut butter cookie, layer of peanut butter, and chocolate frosting on top. Yummy. I like the corner pieces because I do like the rounded crust, but in the middle is more peanut butters. So if that's what you like, go for a middle piece. Okay, ready for my taste test. Maybe it's a little bit like Lay's potato chips. No one can eat just one. Chocolate, peanut butter oatmeal. Oh man. Probably better just eat one. Just glue it right here. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.